lane, and they'll actually rotate one more down bottom. Snake King again very far forward in the lane. He will be punished. Raven on his way in. He secures the kill. 4-2. The NC strike once more.
Well, Sam H, I hope you enjoyed your 4 minutes. Now we're taking over. Raven's turn in the easy lane. Sam H has to go find somewhere else to farm here.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, you have to secure that lone druid farm. This is not a hero that plays well without farm. He needs a lot of space. He soaks up all those neutrals in the jungle in that mid game, and he has not been off to a good start. Yeah. Lesh is just holding the top for now, so they haven't actually moved out the Beastmaster yet. Seems pretty likely.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see the net worth distribution here because, yeah, as you said, Sam H is still bottom. He wanted to wait for the bounty runes for his ball and everything, but Cuckoo loves to play a bit greedy on this Leshrac. This has been, I would say, their best hero overall for the team. It's felt like lately it's just something they're very comfortable opening up with, and many games Cuckoo plays exceptionally well on it. He's very good at hitting the splitter. It's just opening a lot of damage in these games, so... Yeah. If there's a hero that in this current patch I'm looking towards TNC winning games with, it is this Leshrac. You know, it used to be the TB, and you saw what happened last game. It's not really the flavor of the month anymore.
Exactly. TB, how the mighty have fallen, and about time. SVG stunned up down bottom, follow-up axes, now the right click, but a TP rotation from MSS not going to be enough to save his Disruptor. Maybe they can at least get a counter kill on Tim's. Snake King now getting very low after securing that kill. Raven doesn't quite have it as the stick charges fly. And Snare used on Sam H. Axes, not quite enough as the Savage Roar comes out. I think Sam H could be done for, but uses that bottle. Has one stick charge left. MSS
has to be careful.
Well, he's going to find this kill, it looks like. Ensnare, Riptide, right click. It's a kill onto the Beastmaster. 4-5 as BGJ Storm reacts to that pressure down bottom.
And meanwhile, Reza was chased up top there, but he will escape with a boundless strike.
There's that Elder Dragon form debuted for the first time by Armel in the mid. It's been a pretty even mid lane. Monkey King is ahead of net worth by a couple hundred gold, but the CS relatively even. Most of it just lopsided from that one death that Armel took earlier.
Yeah. Definitely comes back to the question, though, of like, who would you rather have this farm on?
Wins. Uh-oh, Raven, it's a 3-on-1. He's got no supports and no... SVG, obvious advantage for BGJ Storm trading support before. Yeah, now back up top. Sam H, he gets brought down immediately.
And very nicely timed there from Rezo. He knows the DK ult is just ending on Armel, so even though he's gone, there's no real threat on his tower in the mid lane. Yeah. He just dissipates the ult right now, and he's back just kind of right-clicking some creeps. So Rezo on point here, and again, who do you want this net worth on? A Monkey King or a Dragon Knight? You know, this feels so much better for Rezo. Easy game, gonna have a Battle Fury very quickly. Well set up here for this.
And Yawar's had a fine time on this Death Prophet. We have seen some of the off-lane Death Prophets struggle a little bit, especially in the early game compared to when you're in that mid-roll, the driver's seat. But he's right up there, number 3 on net worth, just barely behind the DK. And then you've got this Monkey King, who's king of the castle.
Yeah, they gave Yawar a lot of resources, too. Plenty of support help.
Yep.
Made it a very simple game for him. So they're able to now evac onto Armel.
Absolutely. No DK form, not much he can do. SVG with the Glimpse kinetic field right into the Exorcism. That's a kill. Now on the other side, MSS as well as Resolution initiate onto Cuckoo. MSS getting pretty low, but able to survive through it. Tim's now without some options. Neutral creep finishes off MSS, so no kill favoring TNC. A 1-for-3 technically, but a huge advantage for Vici.
Yeah, these heroes are just all very much ready to go. This is level 5.5 Beastmaster. He's not coming to that fight. He's not going to have any impact. Look at the heroes on VJ Storm. I mean, you have a Clockwork who's ready to go. Monkey King is A-OK with these early engagements, and a Death Prophet who had already popped Exorcism and now has a haste rune bottled up.
Oh, how nice.
Very convenient. In fact, it'll be ready just as the Exorcism is coming back.
Well, now TNC will smoke up on Tim's and Cuckoo right outside of their tier 3. Right now, just headed towards mid, maybe looking for a kill on Yawar, but with that haste rune, not your easiest target. What's the play here, boys?
Yeah, real tough. You're going for this before Tim's has level 6. At 10 minutes, he does have enough experience now that by the time that the tome comes out, he will be 6, but going for a kill now just a little bit more difficult. However, they are going to partner up here with Raven.
I mean, maybe they'll find Snake King. He is level 6, has a hook shot, but no real target to hook shot to defensively. Nice cogs to get things started with that Hellbear Smasher playing some ring around the Rosie. Now the stun from the Lion connects, and they will secure this kill. So the smoke works out. Once more, Snake King ends up 6 feet under.
Yeah, not able to find any sort of an escape hook or something, and maybe considering it not being worth it, wants to get the ball rolling, doesn't want to give up his cooldown, but...
And it's a tower for Raven, so a little bit of extra money going his way. Now the leading farmer on the Dire, but up top, Sam H, he's glimpsed, kinetic fielded, a primal spring will land right on top, and oh, that monkey, he doesn't smell good.
They're just so clearly giving that kill over to Rezo as well. You saw both supports just completely stop. Have to time it there with the Thunderstrike, and Rezo building towards a Battle Fury, which they would not have an answer for if they went for the ranged lone druid, and maybe that's partially why Raven feels the need to head in towards that Radiant. So they're gonna have someone who kind of farms at that same pace, but that ranged lone druid that you're kind of expecting in terms of like the counters and how it would synergize with the rest of their draft will not be here.
All right, the long grind begins. The Helm of the Dominator secured, but hook shot on the other side. Snake King jumps in onto Cuckoo. Yawar's there to help follow up and make it an easy kill, but in comes Tims as well as Raven. Armel also not far behind. Yawar trying to make it up to the high ground and might get lucky here. Tangling Claws come. He's trying to Spirit Siphon back up, but it's not enough, and they will go 1 for 1. This time support for Core favoring TNC.
They get one back on the eagerness of Clockwork to make use of his hero, ends up costing them their death profit. So Tomes will come out now though, and that means that we now have a game for MSS as well as Tims. I would assume he'll be the one to get it, as they'll both have their ultimates available.
Disruptor and Naga basically at the same amount of XP, but that Song of the Siren just feels like your cherry on top in terms of breaking up these team fights. Mid-tier 1 taking a lot of damage. TNC will grab that uncontested. They did also lose their tier 1 in the top lane, where Resolution is just free farming away, but our eyes are down bottom as Snake King could fall victim to yet another gank. 2, 4, and 3 on this Clockwork. Setup from Tims leads into Cuckoo. That disco ball on the Lesh is firing. It's like the 70s all over again here, Trent, as they find yet another on the King.
Yeah, and they're going to keep on pushing here, it looks like. See if they might want to make use of this lone druid. DKL coming up in 10 seconds. Now they have used the tome on SVG, so he's got the level 6.
So they went for the Static Storm.
Yeah, I think most teams, when you see the Naga Disruptor, they do tend to give it to the Disruptor first. I thought maybe in that specific situation it would have looked a little bit better just because of how they were balled up, but by the time the tower went down, no chance for a Song. So SVG is lurking behind, maybe hoping to bait the Death Prophet into some sort of a play here, but we have the angle from the Clockwork. Things very dangerous for TNC in this engagement. Looking for that Monkey King ulti to come through. Rezo needs to start his TP if he wants to be here.
He's going to come to the shrine. There's the Exorcism. Hook shot actually off the mark from Snake King, but still walks right into Cuckoo. Song of the Siren does set things up, but the Static Storm was used. Not the choreography they wanted for VGJ Storm, and now Yawar will get brought down. They go 1 for 1, 2 for 2 even, as the Monkey King has already fallen.
Yeah, Tim's caught them with a 2-man Earth Spike up there, able to help clean up.
Oh, wow. They're going to grab Snake King as he gets left behind, and it's a pretty good fight for TNC. 1 for 3, and this will be a tier 2 tower going their way.
Once that hook shot missed, it was a total disaster. Like, Tims, he saw Rezo come in, hits them both with the Earth Spike, and then follow up there from Cuckoo. Great communication between the supports. And,
I mean, even before the missed hook shot, it was great positioning from Tims. He saw that TP coming, was prepared and ready, and then hit him with that Hex as soon as he TP'd in, so they couldn't immediately hook shot. We'll see the replay come up right here.
Yeah, this is the bottom half of the fight, of course, too. Just the Song didn't really feel like it had an impact here. It didn't set up anything. It just instantly canceled, like, oh shit, this isn't what we want. And up top, you can see the 2-man Earth Spike right into Split Earth. Easy.
Now, big play by Tims, keeping his team in this game. It's a 2K net worth lead now for TNC, as the momentum has shifted back into their favor, now about halfway to that Blink Dagger on the Lion. But from the perspective of EGJ Storm, of course, things don't really get rolling until that Battle Fury comes out on the Monkey King. Still a ways to go until that Demon Age gets finished up, but then Resolution will have that farming tool and also have a little bit more damage to bring to the fight.
This is where the game gets a little bit awkward, though, as someone like Snake King, where you got the fight like it feels like you wanted, right? Because you're a core Clockwork, you're looking for engagements, that's kind of how you're going to farm, but it didn't go that well. And now you feel like, oh shit, can we like win these fights? And then you're saying to your teammates, yo, I can defend top, I'm here guys, I have hook shot. And everyone else on your team is like, I need this item, I need this item, I'd like this item please, and then all you get is the creep waves. Kind of how it goes, you know?
Yeah, it's been kind of a topsy-turvy game for this Clockwork. 3, 6, and 3. Been involved in some kills, but also taken a lot of deaths a bit prematurely in these rotations. Tier 1 tower up top, finished off by TNC. They're going to use this DK Lone Druid duo on top of the Edict to shoot through these towers. Glyph used by VGJ Storm. Looks like they are just split, trying to push themselves mid and bottom, but don't know if this will be a successful trade. There's just so much tower sieging potential on TNC. It's even just a level 1 Edict, but that's enough to cut right through it.
Bottom did not go so well. I mean, I think it was just tilted. So,
yep, and mid, it gets down to about half HP, but not too scary. Yawar hanging on to the Exorcism for now.
The Radiant scanning. Roche is kind of worried, looking for those natural rotations. Okay, well, you took a tier 1, you took a tier 2.
Snake King, oh, he's going to walk a bit too far forward, and it's a 1-on-4. Not really sure what the game plan was there.
Thought they'd rotated back to their side, which makes sense. There was no objective left there, you know?
They were a step ahead, Trent. They knew. They're like, guys, this Clockwork, he's desperate. We've killed him enough times. He's going to come up for this farm. Just be patient. They saw it.
Fair enough. Now, in the meantime, Rezo did kind of get a little bit of like backstab action going on, cleared up some waves. They pushed that tower in the top. It's actually within deny range there. Him's hesitating a bit to actually deny it, though.
Well, he's just going to walk away. They do still have that shrine, so in terms of access point, not really high priority.
But yeah, back we go to Battle Fury Gaming. And it's their hope. I mean, at the same time, the dual scepter for UR is also a very big deal. Snaking.
Shot, okay.
Yeah, creeps in the way there, hitting the catapult. Didn't have an angle, tried to cancel TP.
It's a tough one. Miss all the shots you don't take there. Cuckoo with the tip. Oh.
Very nice. That's a solid use right there.
Poor guy.
Their own toolkit's starting to come online though. Blink Dagger down for Armel on the Dragon Knight, so if he can catch out the DP before this Yules, obviously very handy.
Yep, Blink Drum, so going for some extra stats, movement speed there. Try to survive in these team fights. TNC definitely looking a lot better this game than last, maintaining some control as this laning stage is broken down. The Lone Druid getting pretty close to Radiance. I think he's already picked up the recipe, 3,200 gold towards the Relic. Now they get the Solar Crest out on the Beastmaster as well. Did not go for the Shadow Blade. We've seen this like Medallion, Shadow Blade, then back for the Solar Crest. But this game, Sam H opting right for that upgrade.
Just so much physical damage coming out from VGJ Storm between the Monkey King and the Death Prophet. Yes, the 3-4-5 is largely magical, but in terms of that 1 and 2 from Rezo and Yawar, you're just taking away so much with the Solar Crest here.
Oh, glimpse onto Cuckoo. No hook shot needed, also not available. Lesh gets brought down. Coming up in just a couple seconds.
There you go. Yeah. He's there for the follow-up. But yeah, into the tower they go. Still not really going to use the Exorcism. They'll hold out.
Just chipping at that tier 1. Sam H does have an Arcane Rune on right now, so great time to use that Primal Roar. Also makes the Wild Axes actually do a lot more damage.
Oh, I think Rezo's going to sneak his way to that tier 2 as well up top. If they can keep that attention and he can just get this wave a little bit close, then that's going to go down. Well, that's attention.
Whoa, the initiation onto Yawar. Song of the Siren comes out a little bit late, and the finger will just finish him off. Buyback, though, used by Yawar. Static Storm Kinetic Field onto Sam H. Cuckoo gets whisked back into oblivion, and the Beastmaster actually still surviving. Clockwork goes down. Rezo finished off the tower, and now he's making the rotation from the backside. Snake King now buying back. They deploy the Exorcism. Boundless Strike connects on Sam H, and Monkey King will tree dance away, rather.
Yeah, Rezo just kind of like runs his way over, too. He's taking so long, kind of like jumping or anything like that, so not there in time for any sort of the engagement.
Kind of peculiar. So 2 buybacks used by VGJ Storm at 17 minutes, not a big expenditure, so you don't want to read into it too much. Maybe hoping that TNC would commit a bit more, but at the end, they pretty much just get the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, they did get that tier 2 top as well, just because of the way the creep pushed in, so overall decent gains here for the side of VGJ Storm. But yeah, I think if you're on TNC's side, you're feeling relatively fine about this. Looking for the next DK Ultimate, looking for the Radiance on the Bear. There it is, and let's play around it.
Yep, certainly where things get a little easier for the Dire. Monkey King does have that Battle Fury now with BKB queued up next, already has the Ogre Club. Interesting to see Cuckoo here going Bloodstone. First item, at least. That's what he's got queued up already with the Perseverance.
Yeah, this guy's an animal.
Yes, literally.
Isn't he? Is that a deer?
Lesh is some sort of goat creature. I'm not sure
he's
exactly.
He's a goat deer man. I don't know why he's a deer.
He's the keeper of the grove, Trent. That's
keeper
really
of the goat grove. Got it. SVG on the run, taken down.
He's keeper of the graveyard right now. He gets sent back.
I think that's a gravekeeper. They have a word for that. You don't gotta make up your own. You don't gotta be all fancy.
Well played, sir.
All right, but MSS, he does have this key item once again in the Meteor Hammer, and currently the BKBs on the side of the Dire.
I think the Bassi is really the key item with the Meteor Hammer.
It makes it very easy peasy, but they have no way to stop it. If he gets the song off, if you're pumped up, you're going to get punished.
Yeah, absolutely. And then speaking of punish, Yawar maybe in some trouble. He does get the silence onto Lion, but Savage Roar rather is there, and Yawar does end up getting brought down. It was a noble effort. Unfortunately, not going to survive.
No, solid attempt there. If only he had gotten the main hero as well there, wouldn't have been a roar, but...
Okay. TNC absolutely hanging in and doing a great job managing their economy. They've got heroes just farming all throughout the jungle. Sam H and Cuckoo actually getting a lot of income.
Yeah, actually just looking so much better this game, too. I mean, it helps when all three of your core players feel like they're involved in the game. I really do think like they just did not set up Sam H whatsoever. Yeah. Sure, Tim's got some stuff going, but then there was just no one for him to play around either. This game, much more sacrificial onto Tim's. He's just kind of struggling his way towards the Blink Dagger, but you've seen how much they've given over to Cuckoo on the Slash Rack. Playing this this whole idea of net worth distribution, always very important for TNC. We always have like the super strong dual core, and then everyone else just kind of in behind. I like in this one how it's kind of like a set of pairings. It's like, yeah, you got a 1 and a 2, you got a 3 and a 4 kind of next to each other, but they're much more elevated. You know, this isn't like last game where Sam H and Tim's were like together but down.
Absolutely. Mid-tier 2 tower, taking a lot of damage. Up top, Tim's has made a rotation to try to push back this Monkey King.
They have a ward there.
Does have an invisibility rune. Yeah, the Tinker Ward on the high ground. Not going to be enough. Resolution just a little too sneaky with that tree dams. What a hero.
Yeah, he's gone for the talent. So he's just all split push this game.
Okay.
It is completely ridiculous.
Plus 600 tree dance cast range. That's pretty darn good.
This was supposed to bring back the support Monkey King, guys. Didn't happen.
Here it's bringing back our core Monkey King. Right now, VGJ smoked up, perhaps looking to take a fight. They do have all those ultimates available. That is one thing I feel like we haven't talked about very much, but VGJ Storm, very cooldown reliant. A lot of big ultimates. If they have those available, expect them to take a team fight. If not, expect them to be playing a lot more defensive.
Well, currently Rezo's been playing this like sort of split push sort of a game, so
haven't even seen a Wukong yet.
Yeah, no, and they're trying to bait this out and say like, oh, he's just split pushing, he's doing his thing, like he's trying to kind of hide, but now they're making it, it seems a little bit more apparent that he's got some backup there. The Naga illusion will push through past the wave as well, and they'll scout their way down to the Roche Pit. Currently just some sneaky heroes around here, still smoked up under that Radiant Ward.
Smoke action from TNC. Just notice that hideous cosmetic on the Beastmaster, those little boars, like the little dinosaur Tremors boar.
Beautiful.
Might be one of my least favorite. It's hideous, dude. Look, what is it? Literally, what is it?
It's a boar. I mean, it's highlighted. I don't know.
It's a boar with 2 legs. Ah, yes. I've seen many of those in my day at the zoo. Double damage rune. Going to be picked up by Armel here. His BKB very close on this Dragon Knight. It's about 500 off the recipe.
Yeah, picks it up with his ult. He's just a little bit worried there, it seems.
Game of chicken here across the river. BGJ staying in enemy territory, and now TNC pushing up pretty far. Trying to decide what they want to do here. That bear going to be able to defend the creeps up top. And just like that, BGJ split their ways. They all move into the trees and TP home. And TNC will back up, kind of posturing like they're moving towards the Roche Pit, but there is a Naga illusion in there, so they will be privy if that's the case. And indeed, TNC just head back to their jungle for a little bit of farm.
Well, overall, it's a completely different game from last game, but also a somewhat similar game. Very quiet.
Yeah.
Feels like we just got a lot of wandering around, dodging each other. But this time we have a very competitive game, as we've been saying lately here at the Super Major. Things that we're looking for.
Yep. And again, worth reiterating, this is lower bracket, right? Elimination here. So both teams playing very safe. VGJ Storm, nothing insurmountable. I mean, 6K net worth, 23 minutes, it hurts, but they've still got a lot of good team fight, and I think TNC are really respecting that.
Yeah, exactly. It's one Naga song away from you just being completely even once again. And that's a 10-second BKB on the Monkey King and an Echo Saber almost complete. I would be a little concerned about taking these battles from the Dire side. Next battle, very important too. You have your 10-second BKB on the Dragonite, and you also have that Bloodstone done on Cuckoo, so you really don't want to lose any of these Bloodstone charges, and you also want to gain some. You want to try and get to 16, 17, 18, and...
Yeah. Always feels like a bit of a risky build to go like this. Brown Boots into Bloodstone. If you get those first kills or win that first team fight, it feels incredible, but if you lose that first team fight, if you get ganked again after that first team fight, it feels maybe not like a wasted item, but a pretty big sunk cost. It's an expensive paperweight you got there.
Yeah, it's very terrifying. They're going to go in for the Roach Pit. Now this is up against the Clockwork. They know the threat of the vision of the flare.
And I think VGJ Storm are going to be able to get here in time. Roche falling reasonably fast, but there's the Rocket Flare.
They're blocking with the Wolf.
It's not going to be enough, though. The Primal Spring, the Song of the Siren, BKB gets used. Roche still pretty healthy, but they're going to set this up. The Wukong's command, the Static Storm, the Kinetic Field, and the damage is there. Cuckoo's going down fast. DK pops his BKB. They've lost the Disruptor as well. He'll buy back. VGJ Storm still hanging in there, and it seems like Armel is going to have to back up, but Samay on the backside, roar onto the Monkey King. Rezo's getting low and gets finished off by a Breathe Fire. VGJ in big trouble. Buyback now used by the Naga Siren. They've already lost 5 and make it 6 as the Disruptor dies back. Roche going the way of the Dire. Aegis for Armel. One hell of a team fight for TNC.
Yeah, it kind of looked like good initiation with the song, but they didn't get that like perfect follow-up. The BKB was used early from the Monkey King, so half of the duration was used during the actual song itself. And the hookshot wasn't used on that initial initiation either, so things a little bit awkward. And once Cuckoo's able to get back to the Bloodstone, he's helping to push down these towers.
Yep, Glyph's already been used. Tier 3 mid gets chewed through, and this is the power of the Lone Druid. You win a fight, and you can go right up to the enemy high ground. Melee Barracks mid, taking a lot of damage, but respawn's pretty short for VGJ. TNC will not overstay their welcome, and once that melee falls, they get the hell out of Dodge.
Melee Barracks, 25 minutes here.
14K net worth as well. Cuckoo on the high ground. Looking for a stun, but not going to go for it. BKB now from Resolution up top. Trading some right clicks with Armel. Does have some teammates nearby, but Primal Roar. Follow-up not quite going to be there because of the BKBs. Armel, he'll use his magic immunity as he goes in deep. They want Rezo here, and they might just find him. Cuckoo sets it up and brings him down. Buyback available, but the Clockwork now in trouble. Yawar, BKB on. He does not have an Exorcism, and this is looking bad for VGJ. They've lost SVG, limited buybacks. Rezo decides to use his MSS with the Meteor Hammer, but Clockwork could be a dieback here as he uses the point-blank hook shot. Off to the side, Monkey King gets stunned as the trees get killed. Cuckoo is an absolute monster, and just like that, VGJ Storm tap out in 26 short minutes. Ultra kill for Armel, and TNC hang on to their tournament life.
And a second straight game of very tense, slow movements across the map where it feels like one team just doesn't quite know what the answer is.
Yeah.
And this time it was sort of VGJ Storm who were wondering. I feel like they had a better idea of what they had to do. They were looking for that one big team fight, and they were gifted it. You know, that's one of those situations where you kind of look at a team like TNC and say, like, just don't give them that big team fight, and the game's going to be good.
Yeah.
But instead, we end up at this Roche Pit. That song is there from MSS, and you're like, here it is, the big turnaround for VGJ Storm, exactly what you expect, and it just didn't go the way they planned. It all happened so fast, kind of hard to tell what exactly flubbed up there.
It just felt like they didn't have the damage in the fight. So look at the damage at the end. There were 4 heroes that did over 10K on TNC. Not a single hero on VGJ Storm did over 10,000 damage.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time just kind of like jumping around the map, of course. You had the Battle Fury going on the Monkey King, trying to get somewhere with that hero. But at the very most important part,
environment for such kind of new industry. For example, as you mentioned, we all need data. Yeah, for autonomous driving.
Hook shots where he's going to follow up. They're going to have these good team fights going their way. But the key thing to me is just you needed that one big team fight at Roche. They got it, and they just did not execute the way you expect VGJ Storm to do. And so they lost. Simple as that.
Who goes home? Let's head back to the panel and hear their thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much, Trent and Zayuri, and indeed, a tied score. We are going to a third game, and this second game It was a fairly short one actually. Steadily, you know, improving for TNC, doing better and better, and then one team fight, and that's all it took. That's all she wrote. VGJ Storm, the drop a game. Cap, you were not expecting that?
No, I honestly thought we were just going to see TNC playoffs and they're just going to lose 0-2, but they actually just won the laning phase, core clockwork, and it's super hard to be able to come back into the game at that point in time. You actually have a pretty snowball-heavy lineup between Monkey King and Clockwork Cores.
It felt like there was a lot of miscommunication and coordination with VGJ Storm. That fight was a great example of it, where they song on top of the Disruptor ult that has no kinetic field, and then they walk away from it. Just didn't feel like they utilized their heroes as they should, and part of that's just because of how poor that laning phase went. And man, Cuckoo had a Bloodstone in that Roche fight too. Like
yeah,
how
like
is he have so much
21-minute
farm?
Bloodstone or something. Crazy farmed. I think this Roshan fight, like, poor execution from VGJ Storm, but I also think that it doesn't matter at this point in time. Like, this was their opportunity to come back into the game, yes, but I think TNC, like, they didn't really need to try and do Roshan against the Nagasaran lineup. But when they win this one fight, the game's pretty much over.
Yeah.
They could have
Sick
delayed
roar.
it if they wanted to, but yeah, this is ends the game for them. They could have really won this as well, though, if they didn't fuck up so much. And yeah, as you said, the Lashrak here just insta respawns, TP's back in. This is a big problem. And there we see the problem with Monkey King, perma stun, BKB, and then stun again, and then another stun coming in, and boop, beep, beep.
A lot of little things done there, though, like the Solar Crest offensively by the Beastmaster, the micro to use the blast even with the Satyr. Just make sure they land that kill. Now all of a sudden you're fighting without a Monkey King. Yawar seemed relatively ineffective. Buys Yule's BKB, but is that really the choice when you're against this massive pressure of a physical damage lineup? And I just like the draft from TNC. Looks real nice. Lion, Lesh, and then you have 3 really tanky frontliners. Like, it's just easy from this point.
It's hard for the Clockwork to get a good, feel-good initiation against those kind of tanky cores. And then you, with this kind of lineup, it's a prerequisite to win the game. You have to be the ones initiating because you've got Monkey King, Disruptor. Like, these kind of heroes do not like the pressure being put on them. They like to be having a hero setting up for the fight so they can get the Monkey King ultimate inside of the cogs so they can get a good static storm. When they're pressure and they have to react, they're terrible heroes.
Oh, Snaking had a rough game, huh? 3-11-4.
Yeah, that's something I mentioned, and Cap didn't agree with that, but I think he's been a bit up and down, and we see at least Raven this game, 10-1. A little bit annoyed that he does not go boots. That's something that people copied Envy, that he doesn't go boots, and it's you go boots on the hero and even the bear. It's definitely worth it. You farm faster, and you're way stronger in team fights. Yeah. A little bit annoyed, but that still played really well, and the Radiance build worked fine there. You only have the one counter here, which is the DP, but that's okay. So it was still fine. I think the range would have worked just as good, though.
Yeah.
For this series, I mean, both for Game 1 and Game 2, the way that you guys are talking about the teams, it feels like they are their own enemy. They're fighting themselves and their own, you know, mentality. Is that a little bit how this series is going so far, Kyle?
Feels that way. I mean, Clock third pick just seems real awkward to me, especially when you look at them going DK fourth. Like, why don't they just take the Death Prophet before TNT can get their hands on it and, you know, build a lineup? Like, that's where we see that hero picked. The moment you commit to a 3-4-5, you have no versatility left anymore. And they even, I don't know, I just didn't like it. Just such low damage output. You put yourself in a bind where there aren't really any perfect hero picks. I thought their first draft was excellent, but is that, if I'm not mistaken, was that second pick just seeming to outdraft their opponents in both games? Because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I think so. The fact that the laning phase was so screwed up by the Lone Druid pick, right, where you have this Clockwork who can't, like, it needs to be a good Clockwork game, and he can't very easily go into a Lone Druid lane. They try and switch it up. He goes bottom lane. He loses against the Beastmaster really heavily. Yeah. The DK beats the Monkey King in the mid lane matchup, which is something that we thought was going to be a draft advantage for the fact that they already knew their mid laner. They could put the Monkey King there, but he actually still loses the lane.
Well, we have seen both teams win one game. We're going to find out who is going to take the cake, who's going to be top 8 at this Super Major in the third game, which will happen after the break.
Get the alpha, be the alpha.
The battle begins.
Rampage.
Dire victory.
With the Strafe Esports app, follow your favorite teams and players, and you'll never miss a match again. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.
Welcome back to the China Dota 2, a super major powered by PGL and Perfect World. And you are joining us as we are heading into an elimination game. That's right, one game. We already had one team eliminated earlier today, and either TNC or VGJ Storm will get eliminated as well. That will happen in the third game of the series because it is tied 1-1. And here to discuss all the possibilities of this third game is my panel of Kyle, Bulldog, and Capitalist. Hello. Welcome back. What are we wanting to see? Or what are we thinking? Because we already decided, you know, TNC and VGJ Storm, they're their own worst enemies, and we've seen both teams do well. But who's gonna be the one that learned most from this the series of events, Kyle?
Well, I would say VGJ Storm probably learns from their opening, right? And the combination of 3-4-5, but also the fact that opening both their supports, Naga Siren, Disruptor, I feel like isn't particularly potent.
My heart says, like, the fan in me wants to is rooting for VGJ and wants to believe in them. But my gut says TNC got the confidence they needed from that win, and they're going to take the third too.
You mentioned before they're a momentum-based team. And this could just be the win they just had is like, oh yeah, you know what? We are actually a good team. We can do this.
I'd love to see the stats. You know, it's something Nahaz has never brought up. I've asked him, but apparently he doesn't have access to all the stats.
Oh my God.
How often does the team that wins game 2 win the actual BO3? I feel like it's got to be favoring that team.
Sure, for real. Absolutely. And I think for this is something I'll only say very rarely, but I think NA got this for once in a while. I believe in NA. They got resolution.
So you disagree with the win second, win third as well?
Because you bring in a European, you get good, and that was just an off game. You pick Monkey, you lose.
Yes, resolution is European, Kyle. You heard that correctly. We claim him. He's ours. Ask him. He'll agree.
We've all agreed to that already.
Yes.
CIS is located in Europe. I know you're from NA. You don't know education that well.
Resolution is from Ukraine. Ukraine is in Europe.
Very true.
I think EU includes just the European Union.
Also, if you talk to Resolution, pretty sure Resolution would be down to rep NA.
No, I'm pretty sure Resolution is down to rep Europe.
Resolution likes NA.
But he's still from Europe. I'm not saying that he doesn't. I know he does.
He doesn't have a choice. It's Europe.
Here's the thing, Shiver. Anybody can be American. All they have to do is live in America and want to be American.
Yeah, exactly.
American.
That's the beauty of America.
You don't have to be. I was living in Germany for 3 years. You think any of them consider me German? Hell no.
I think your president might have something to say about that. But into the draft we go. TNC, VGJ Storm. We have got first.
Dire turn to ban.
Teams. First pick is more reactive because you see more information throughout most of the draft. But second pick is about building a good lineup, like with structure and order. But if you make those first 4 picks,
why can't you do both with the first one as well?
Because you just get more information. You're responding to 3 picks. You have to open, right? But that's just a support. And from then on out, you always have the information first. That you see 2 heroes, you pick your second. The third, then your third, etc., etc. The only one that's a disadvantage for you is the last pick, but it puts second pick in a position where you're trying to build your lineup. And I think that benefits a team like TNC, where They just need to draft something that they're confident with, that they play well, like they did last game.
I would argue that the second pick teams did a good job of disguising their draft, so we didn't enter into that situation where in the second pick phase, you didn't go, I pick this core, and the enemy team goes, all right, we're going to counter that, that kills it, right? Because both games, they had a kind of guys pick. It was VGJ Storm had Rana with the Naga Siren. It could have been 3, 4, or 2 position.
Yep.
Let's just get the Naga at once.
Why not?
I think I'd be hesitant to pick it again in this spot. I think I'd probably lean towards a Sand King if I'm VGJ. I don't know if I want to go back to a Naga. I feel like that's the mistake a lot of teams make against these fast-paced teams. You want to play aggressive. You know, like the initial draft, TNC's playing on the back foot. They've got this Terrorblade that takes eons to come online. VGJ is just running down lanes. They got Mirana, Luna, Underlord. It's so easy for them to play. Same thing in that second game where it's just a simpler game for TNC. That works for me too. I love the Lesh first pick.
I was going to say either that. Offer T, they'll potentially get the same 4 position.
And you can see the high five immediately after the pick. So I assume they're prepared for this Leshrac, and I'm hoping they take a little less time to come to a decision. That first game, they were really running low.
Yep. How do you prepare for a Leshrac? Like, what do you go for? What type of heroes?
Oh, Nyx and Rubik are both pretty good.
You can also just go for the Skyward with the silence.
I think Ember in the second phase is quite nice.
You're liking this opening, Bane Doom?
It's open. I don't mind it. I like the Doom for TNC. They play this hero really well. And against VGJ Storm, with Resolution, usually the focal point of all their lineups, I think having that Doom for him is always a good idea.
Now put the cursor on.
10 seconds remaining.
Run some sort of like Bane. Or have a fight.
Yeah, Warlock was not banned, which we've seen a lot because VGJ Storm just loves that on SVG. It's a really good pair up with the Resolution to secure his lane. Also good against Doom because he puts so much pressure and then you just heal it up. So you're pretty good there.
Now if you're... when you have Doom, right, you have...
TNC's turn to ban.
There's a lot of heroes that play well against Doom.
Doom is really hard to play.
Respect ban on the Lone Druid. I don't think VGJ's heroes match up poorly against it at all. I think they're just afraid of the hero.
It is a good hero, if you know how to play it. Yeah, they're just banning the same heroes. Medusa, Morphling probably as always.
I like the decision. Warlock Lesh is a great combo. Anytime you hit a Fatal Bonds, all of a sudden the Leshrac damage output just multiplies exponentially. And obviously VGJ loves it. It was getting first banned in the last couple of games, so...
It's really good here because also most Dooms don't go BKB, they just go that pipe and the tank items. So you just run in, you tank the Fatal Bonds, you just kill your own team, pretty much.
TNC's turn to ban.
DK banned out by VGJ. Another hero Warlock matches up quite well against. They certainly have the ability to kill it, but they're just saying, you know, you beat us with this stuff once, not again. And that, to me, doesn't really demonstrate a lot of confidence in this upcoming Game 3. Banning for to cover your mistakes of the past instead of looking towards the future.
Probably gonna need to ban PL here, otherwise I'm pretty sure VGJ Storm would pick it up. Cap said they're banning the Morphling instead. Sure.
BKB carries, Lifestealer, Jug, Slark, all quite good against the VGJ heroes. But obviously you don't want to take them here. Just keep a balanced lineup. I expect them to go for the Tim's hero now. Looking at Sand King, Nyx, the top 2.
Yeah, he spams that Sand King, so pretty safe pick.
I think you'd like to keep it away from VGJ as well. Warlock Lesh love having a Sand. TikTok though. I'd like.
They have more bonus time remaining than that first game. They're learning. They're getting there.
Still got the DP available.
Lion.
The Lion
as well. Worked out previous game. Although that was against the Naga. I don't know, against those illusions.
Yeah, when it's supported, it doesn't matter as much as a core. And yeah, as we said earlier, this hero is just so good, and I'm surprised we don't see it more often. The burst is just so good. Super good scaling. Support hero, you get that insane control in team fight. Once you get the dagger, you're so powerful. And also once you hit level 6 on this hero, you smoke, get a free kill on pretty much anyone in the entire game.
It also could have been hard to play.
Yeah. TNC could pick... no, you can't. Actually, never mind. Going back for the clock. Not too successful last time. They're probably going to put it on support this time, I would hope.
I like the MSS clock a lot more here, and it's an excellent clock game once again. You kind of crush both supports of TNC, and I think you're the best hero against Doom offlane, because anytime you just run through the river behind him, you catch him out with cogs and battery, and he's just dead. There's nothing a Doom can do against you. No real 4-staff hero on TNC yet either.
But is this again a snaking clock?
It could be, but I hope not.
But then it has to be Lesh Core.
I think it's a great Lesh Core game. Anytime you have a Warlock, I think Lesh Core's value just jumps up. You got a lot of heavy burst on TNC, but Lesh is also a great Doom soak. As long as you have your ult popped, I mean, it's annoying to not be able to spam lightning and stun, but it's not the end of the world. Naturally have a high health pool, high move speed.
You know, both of these teams love fighting. I don't get why they don't have more team fight heroes. Obviously Storm has a Warlock and that's great. But TNC is kind of lacking in that department, and they love to fight
I skirmish. That Mirana helps them a lot. I love that pick. I should have probably seen it coming. Got the Bane for the setup. A great mid hero. You never really fear clock the entire game. Same with Lesh Warlock. They're never going to get their spells off on you as long as you get your leaps off properly. The DK's banned, Lone Druid's banned. 2 heroes you have a lot of trouble with. And it, again, leaves them open, very open, as the second pick.
Yeah, they got that tanky Doom now just runs into the fight. You got tons of damage with Lion and Mirana. So yeah, the left pick is really open. For VGJ Storm right now. Probably want to pick the offlaner right now.
Isn't Heal good? Like it's a Mjolnir hero, but it's also...
Peel is still good, but you got the Lion, which is a little bit annoying.
That's why I love the Lion as well. It feels hard picking. Every carry that comes to mind always just feels bad against Lion. Because you just think about how long you can get CC'd, the burst. I just think it's super underutilized. Lion, Bloodseeker. I think by the end of this event, you're going to see these 2 heroes quite a bit.
Roll. You're probably...
Yeah. Got a bunch of options. I think, you know, the Doom kind of denies a lot of these offlaners VGJ like to play on snaking. The team fighters, Enigma, Tide. I could see an Underlord again.
Yeah, but as we talked, that Doom is pretty good against Underlord. Good in the lane if they want to go aggro, which they could do with the Bane. And there's a Doom stopping Underlord from casting any of his team fights. Abilities. Yeah, we're going for the PL. Sure, it's good against Doom. The only problem is really the Lion, as we talked about this game.
Yeah, he's already good against PL.
No, I kind of like Bloodart for...
I still don't mind it. The Lesh Edict is enough physical to like give it, you know, to utilize the amp. And I think that PL loves playing with Splatter. Just because you get the vision to stick onto a target, it's great against the Invis. I think it's just an undervalued offlaner. Yeah. All sources of damage amp just seem very strong in this pad.
And you also want a good second in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you already...
So you're trying to create a lot of space.
You have non-blink required initiation in the clock. Now you just get another blink stun. Help protect and enable that Warlock Lesh. Oof. Interesting Ember ban. That would have been a great pick for TNC themselves. Maybe they're... See, I'd like to say Timbersaw Storm for TNC, but they're really lacking on the physical damage output.
10 seconds remaining.
Not like you can pick a Sven here.
What? So we've been talking about, what's like the alternate
Dire team pick.
Could just still go for the DP if they want.
I think you got to deal with the PL. This last hero for TNCs has got to address that no matter what VGJ goes with this pick.
Yeah, I meant for VGJ.
Ah. Yeah. I don't mind it.
Pretty boring though. Pick a fun hero.
Yeah. I mean, do you really think that's the direction they're going to go though? They're here to win, not have fun. This is NA Dota.
About that. Yeah, they just want to play around the...
Try having more fun.
Just relying completely on the PL's gonna carry this game. I thought they've been playing a lot with resolution, so just anything that can create any kind of space. I think PL could take over this game.
What would do well against PL for TNC to still pick up?
TNC's turn.
What heroes are like the counters? It's still the Underlord, even though we said it wasn't the ideal pickup.
And it just fits the way VGJ wants to play, and it fits their draft. I don't mind it. Quite nice. You already have enough reach and catch. Like, you just wanted something that could buy the sustain items, the pipe, the crimson if needed. TNC's in a rough spot. I'm not quite sure what's perfect here. I would say like maybe an SF, but there's a clock in the game. You don't want to pick TA into PL Underlord. There's very few options. No matter what they choose, I think it's going to be suboptimal, but you need to ensure you have a win condition. You've got to be able to deal with these PL illusions.
Battle Fury.
Yeah.
Lord and Laney.
That could be good, but you're playing against clock and a ton of heavy catch. Like, you'd need so many items before you come online. I think you might just get run over.
I guess the Kunkka has the same story. Takes too long to come online. Ooh.
Choose your hero.
Okay.
Yep.
Classic.
Classic in a good way. Do we like it?
I don't mind it. I think both drafts are relatively even. They have win conditions. It's going to come down to the lanes.
Look. Do they have Lifestealer against Ben? What's the matchup?
Mirana versus PL. I think PL can crush that matchup pretty hard. Yeah.
All right. So leaning towards Storm, Kyle?
Yeah, he is. You look at him. NA fanboy right here.
All right, got that sorted. Bulldog, how about you?
I'll also go with the NA.
Well, no, you can say EU because that's Rezo. So
EU Dota, let's go.
All right.
Save NA.
Cap.
I'll go team.
All right. Well, let's find out what's going to happen. Third game is coming up. Third game of our second elimination match. Who will be victorious, TNC or VGJ Storm? Let's find out with your commentators, Trent and Zayori.
Thank you, Sheever. Game number 3. This is what it all comes down to. Trent, I want to hear what's going on inside that Canadian head of yours. What are you thinking?
I guess I'm looking at who I want to pin my game on here. Do I want to be carried by a Mirana Lifestealer, or do I want to be carried by the PL and the Underlord? And I'm feeling good about the PL and the Underlord. I feel like it's going to look a lot like game number 1 with the Luna and the Underlord, similar stuff, but the panel was correct in some of those assumptions about like the Underlord game. Surely not going to be nearly as free of a game snaking head in our first match.
I mean, game 1 is like a 9.5 out of 10 in terms of space to be able to just run around, farm, and have exactly the game that you want. To me, these drafts look a lot more even than maybe games 1 or 2. I would expect this one to be a little bit more of a slugfest and much more based around initiation, who makes the plays.
Right, and we need one of those. Like, come on now. These first 2 games, guys.
We're both pretty lopsided.
Yeah,
a lot of
farming was a little too good in each one. I need you to dumb it down a little bit, get on an even playing field, and let us watch some Dota here.
Yeah, and no Nagasire in this game, which feels a little bit like a treat, perhaps, because we've been getting a lot of her throughout this event. VGJ Storm with some huge team fight and like the Warlock and the Lesh, big time damage there, but TNC have a ton of lockdown here, Trent. 2 ways to cut through that BKB with Doom as well as Fiend Script. You've got Lion with some initiation, those follow-up arrows. TNC have a lot of options to start fights, find ganks, and get this Lifestealer who's having a nice time down here with those taunts up to where he wants to be. A little invasion from TNC. They'll grab both bounty runes down bottom and one of the runes up top. So that's a early victory for TNC, going 3-1 in bounties, baby.
Yeah, nice start. And you're not wrong about the control. I mean, if you think about the old Nightmare into Arrow, that's pretty good. How about if we follow that up by a Lion?
Old classic.
That's like 11 seconds of disable.
Yeah, why not follow it up
well.
with a Doom? Maybe get a Blink Dagger, eat one of those Centaurs. All of a sudden, you've got an AoE War Stomp with you. Yeah, it can definitely add up. So mid lane, what do we have here? It's a Leshrac on Mirana, Yawar versus Armel. Should be a straight 1v1. It's this bottom lane we're going to be looking at, baby. 3-on-3. It's a try-on-try. Resolution on the PL.
Okay, so they're going to dodge the Underlord away from this lane. They wanted to bring everyone down here instead, but not maybe like the best tri-lane heroes here. I feel like the Bane into just like Lion feels so much stronger, but MSS will find the early battery assault harass here.
Yeah, Cuckoo definitely in some trouble. It's actually going to be enough for a kill, though. The regen helping things out. No, okay, now they turn on to MSS. A lot of damage exchanged, but Cuckoo does live. Brain Sap plus Tangos. It's enough.
Yeah, MSS will style back up, though, and 10 more seconds will be ready to try another one of these battery assault plays.
Whoa, Armel able to finish off Yawar. Nice early start for TNC.
Yeah, the arrow used, the leap there. And we were kind of expecting the matchup of the PL mid, perhaps, instead.
Yeah.
Kind of like utilizing that Leshrac spam. You think about him in the tri-lanes, lightning into the stomp, and then followed up maybe by the clockwork. That felt a little bit more prominent here, but Rezo's the one down here battling it out.
Absolutely, and so far it seems a little bit tough. He has gotten a couple of last hits, farmed out even with Raven, but I'm just a lot more scared of this TNC tri-lane, especially once they get a little bit more experience. Like level 3 on Bane and Lion, you've got a lot of burst, you've got a lot of control. Warlock, not really your ideal tri-lane hero. I mean, Fatal Bonds can be really good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, that Shadow Ward just feels a little underwhelming when you've got all these heroes to deal with.
Yeah, at the very least, he can try and use it to ensure that Rezo has himself a solid time, right? Level 3
Rezo
especially.
won't die, but
yes.
That's about it.
So far, the last they're fine, though. I mean, he's 8-3.
So far. Like I said, I think for TNC, it really starts once we get level 2, level 3 on these supports. That's when it gets just a bit more scary. But we'll see. 1K net worth lead for TNC already. Up top, the Doom versus Underlord, a lane we haven't really talked about too much. Should be relatively even, but I think this one does favor Underlord, at least out of the gate. Snake King is having a great time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you think about that low armor of the Doom. Yeah, he's got some regen, some sustain, but if there's ever a moment there with a stacked up Ash-Tree Aura, Snake King might get a couple right clicks in and very much going in his favor. So you might just see Samh try and like absorb some waves and maybe try and grab the bounty rune if he can.
And back to the bottom lane. Some power cogs as Raven continues to throw in the right clicks. It's SVG that's taking the bulk of the damage, though Tims needs to be a little careful. Nightmare set up. MSS will help out his buddy, playing a little hot potato. Nice stun on 2, though. Stops this counter play from BGJ Storm. Still no kill.
Middle lane, though, starting to get a little bit out of hand. Armel, of course, already having the kill, and now that damage over the Leshrac. 13 more than him.
61 on the Lesh, and that's 78 on the Mirana. Huge gap.
Yeah, yours bringing up the second null, though, so that'll even that up.
That'll be a big help for sure. And you were right about this bottom lane. Sort of surprisingly, Resolution and Raven farming dead evenly. Clockwork set up on again. There's the follow-up stun. Raven with the right clicks, but they're also going in onto Tims. Tims getting pretty low, as is MSS. Tims ends up falling first. Clockwork able to live as he uses the cogs and heads his way back. BGJ Storm find the advantage.
Solid play there by MSS. Kind of creates a little bit of a moment where there's no way they can actually get on top of him.
That's a moment where that Warlock made all the difference.
Race to the Invis rune down bottom, though, and Tims finds MSS going for it.
Not going to have a play for a kill here, of course. Clockwork pretty tanky, but able to pick up that rune.
That will mean that you will have to be a little bit careful here in the mid. Oh, but not careful enough.
And they even saw that rune snag, but the Hex will be enough to lock him down. Split Earth, it tickles, but Potom gets yet another kill, 2-1, furthering that lead for TNC.
I love the way how they just went for that right away. They didn't like try and lure him down at the river, try and guarantee that the kill was 100% or something. They just knew that he's going to start playing differently. He just tried to play the like right to the very last possible moment before backing below the tower, and obviously he was punished for it. So he'll now have the raindrops to try and prevent some of these, but currently Tims is just lurking nearby here. There is an observer ward there under the banner, so you shouldn't fall victim to this, I say.
Pretty bold play from Tims, tanking that tower, but sets up the arrow from Armel, gets the second star, and the TP is canceled. That is the value play for TNC. They do lose Tims, unfortunately, to the tower, but TP wasted. Another death on the Leshrac. This mid lane is turning very lopsided.
So greedy from your wire. Definitely a big misplay. You have a ward. Your team's trying to help you. Don't feed. Don't die like that, man. That really hurts when you're the support player giving up your ward for that, man. He walked up.
Coach Trent is back again. Don't feed, guys. Great plan. You're right, though. Definitely a big misplay. Already behind in this lane, and now it's going to be that much worse. Focusing back on the bottom lane, though. Now Cuckoo taking a lot of pressure from Resolution, but Raven's still pretty healthy. Not a huge amount of kill potential for VGJ Storm. They sort of have to wait for TNC to come to them and then capitalize on that aggression with the counterplay. But a little bit limited on starting these fights themselves with this cast of supports.
Yeah, MSS still just kind of like hoping someone's going to come to the side shop or something.
Also leeching some XP, though. Does find his level 3. That's that second point in battery assault.
And Kugu is pretty low. He might just find it here.
Yeah. Rezo kind of baiting it, but now MSS just walks in with the battery assault on. Creeps nearby, making this a little bit more difficult, and he just gets nightmared. That'll be the end of that gank attempt.
Yeah, way too many creeps about that to work. And Tim's, he's in behind. Can find something here, but he's once again underneath dire vision. Now, mind you, that didn't save you last time. So, who's to say it will this time?
Armel has an arcane rune, though, so even without Tim's in the lane, pretty scary for Yawar. Mirana, one of the better heroes at this stage of the game with an arcane rune. She already has a lot of mana issues, so now she can spam pretty much to her heart's content. Checking in again at this top lane here. Been very quiet with Snake King and Sam H, but boy, is it favoring this Underlord. As we talked about, not surprising, but level 7 compared to level 5. Starting to feel a little bit like game number 1 for Snake King. Number 2 on net worth. He's having an absolute perfect game thus far.
In terms of how this lane would go, you'd expect the Doom might be able to do well because of the percent-based damage, because of the Infernal Blade, but that did just get nerfed too. Percent's still there, but that initial base damage going down, so hurts him a little bit, and then the fact that he has no wave clear. So what's happening is Snake King is just pushing the wave, sending it into the tower. He bought a bottle because he knows that he's going to get the runes every time. He's going to send the wave in, he's going to rotate over, and keep up his mana pool.
Yeah, Atrophy Aura, so good in those melee on melee lanes. No surprise to see that second point put in there for the value. Wrap around from Tim's, though, onto Snake King as he runs in onto Sam H. Armel also making the rotation. Second star connects, and it's a kill onto the King.
This is like the game that we were kind of hoping for from the puck from Armel. But now in game 3, we're finding it on that Mirana, already 4-0-0, almost level 9. And his opponent, even in a little bit of trouble there, as Cuckoo wanders in with a nightmare. And he's being chased down with the courier, help prevent...
Arrow does connect from downtown.
All right, you still got to run Cuckoo.
No follow-up. Yawar even tried to sidestep that one, but it does keep Cuckoo alive. So it's a nice arrow from Armel, and this Mirana will continue her reign of dominance. Number 1 on net worth by a big margin right now. Now back up top, Doom used on Snake King. Tim's was there with the follow-up. Sam X has to pop the mango to try to have the damage for this kill. I think they've got it, especially with Cuckoo wrapping around the back. The best they can hope for now is a deny.
Maybe? Oh, TP's too late.
No, and all the while, Armel gets a solo kill on Yawar. We were looking at that dive up top. So 2 kills for TNC across the map. This mid lane continuing to be a disaster for VGJ. Nice TP from Cuckoo in the tree line.
Wow, TNC, they have come out on fire to start this game. I love the rotations from Tim's. I feel like they're putting the perfect pressure on this Underlord early on, helping out this Doom, who's given, once again, Sam H kind of handed the dead little unwelcoming lane there. So they'll now hand that over to Raven. He wants to be the one putting some pressure on the tower. Someone else can go hang out in the bottom.
Yep. Been a little bit of a slow start for Raven. 0-0-0. The tri-lane didn't let him free farm maybe the way he'd like. Power treads, now just Radiance queued up, going for a very standard Lifestealer build. And just looking for a little space to farm, Trent. He wants to play quiet time.
Yeah, it is the kind of game that you need. Like, if you're playing this Lifestealer who wants to go for the Radiance, it can't be this, okay, Infest bomb time, guys, let's go. You know, you don't really want to go Armlet, get super active. If you use heroes like a Mirana and like this Doom who are doing all of that for you, that's the best, you know? You're just looking to keep your head down and hit some creeps.
Now rotation bottom, Snake King breaks the smoke. He gets stunned into arrow before he can even pit of Malice. Now the fiery sword from the Doombringer comes, and the King falls once more. Snake King with this amazing start, now somewhat squandered, just middle of the pack in terms of net worth.
Yeah, and that was all around that bounty rune timing too. So they'll grab a couple down bottom. MSS will take the ones in top lane, at the very least though. And they have some vision here. over that life steal. It was still a very difficult kill, even with the clockwork. This is not the kind of heroes they're envisioning getting those kills with.
Especially now that he's level 6. There isn't Fest available, so it gives Raven that little reset tool as Resolution starts laying in some damage.
He is forcing it out of him, though, so now they have kill threat over the next minute and a half, and that's kind of his goal.
But we'll see. Perhaps TNC will stay aggressive and create some distractions around the map. Armel just farming in enemy territory right now. MSS hiding in the tree line near mid, thinking that perhaps they might rotate onto Yawar again, realizing how far behind this Lesh is and how important it is to support him and let him start making those steps towards recovery.
Not even into the arcane group yet.
Yeah, this is, I mean, Lesh is the lowest farming core right now as their mid laner. He's just behind Snake King by a couple hundred gold. It's not great.
I mean, this is definitely looking like a game where it's going to be Rezo trying to carry everything, kind of what you expected in terms of the draft.
Down bottom, Armel with an aggressive leap forward. Big damage onto SVG as he gets the second star. He's dead. Just like that. Now the counter kill perhaps. MSS looking to rotate through the trees, but they make it back under the tower. 8-2, TNC. Playing like their tournament life is on the line, Mike. Says, you know, I'm just trying to read my book, man. I'm just trying to spend some time in the library, get towards this golem. And Armel's just unrelenting.
Yeah, he is making this hero look completely unstoppable all across the whole map, just utilizing...
Spend some time. Says, you know, I'm just trying to read my book, man. We talked about
Sam H. Dota
dominated in the lane, and Sam H is completely recovered. Now Tim's with the wraparound here in the mid, sets it up. The alley-oop again onto Yawar. Having flashbacks to that Ori Kunkka game we saw yesterday, Trent, where he just got killed over and over and over. I mean, that's Yawar's life this game. Now up top, Bean script from Cuckoo. Armel, he was just mid. Now he's top. This guy is everywhere.
10-0-1. At 13.5 minutes, Sam H again just kind of like lurking around, snaking here too, but he does not have any help. Tim's is coming. Maybe they can convert this, but remember he did use that Doom earlier, and even forcing a TD he might be happy for the long range from Tim's. Easy peasy.
Oh my.
13-2.
What is happening for BGJ Storm? They looked so good in game 1, a bit rocky in game 2, and it seems they're having trouble shaking it off. They need to queue up that Taylor Swift and get back into this game.
I said at the start what core I'd really want to like pin my hopes on, and I did not include Verona. You know, these PL games, they look so good. The hero just wildly out of control. That timing has not happened yet. He's almost into that Diffusal Blade, gets a little bit monstrous, sure, but when you have a Miranda, like this isn't the Miranda you really expect, honestly. We haven't seen anything like this. 10-0-1, 14 minutes in, completely dominating so far. So Armel's kind of twisting this game a little bit here, but he does need to keep that up. There's no doubt, you know. Has to be very cautious about giving away that streak too, right? He has to build into BKB next. Doesn't really have a choice.
I think the hero that TNC need to focus on now is this PL. That is the one saving grace for BGJ Storm. It's Resolution. He's going for the stock standard Diffusal Blade. He's about 100 gold off. He's farming right behind that of the Mirana, still ahead of the Lifestealer. If they can maybe get some kills off the back of this Diffusal Blade, they can start clawing their way into this game. But the flip side of that, if TNC kill his PL a couple times, he's the only one that's looking a little scary.
Smoked up Bane here, pops.
Looks like this could be a freebie on the Cuckoo. Hook shot in from MSS. No support inbound from the Radiant, and he will get put down.
Yeah. Feels a little wasted to use the hook shot there, but I think he was worried that there were more heroes smoked behind him as Snake King really wants to fill that bottle.
Yeah, they go in for more, and Snake King will pay with his life. Down comes the rock from SVG, but they just disengage. Sam H, he drops the Doom. He wants Yawar again. He says, I might die for this, but it's well worth it to punish the GOAT. Blesh falls, big fatal bonds onto TNC, taking some damage. A dust used now as the Moonlight Shadow helps secure the retreat. But what's really scary about this all, Trent, this is a 4v5. Raven is just farming right now. He is in complete PvE mode, and he's almost got the Radiance. It hasn't even come online yet for TNC.
0, 0, 0. The hard carry's dream. Every time that some heroes from the dire side are showing up somewhere, he's TPing the other side of the map.
Yeah, and it's paying some dividends. Not sure what the answer is once that Radiance comes out. These team fights already looking difficult for VGJ Storm. They do put some pressure on that bottom tier 1 tower with the Warlock Golem as well as that Siege Creep, but Sam H will put an end to that.
Yeah, MSS maybe up here hunting a bit for the Bane, but he's going to back away in time.
Arrow almost hits Snake King in the mid, shaves a couple hairs off the underbelly of the beast, but does not connect with the stun.
Kind of scaly. I don't really think he's got hairs.
Oh, I think he's got some hairs under that.
I don't know if he's got a Gillette in the shower or anything here. Like, that is just, I think he's like a polish more so.
That's true. I'm not much of a Pit Lord aficionado.
Yeah,
so
that much is clear.
I'm more of a Wyvern kind of guy.
Well, Sam H looking for his first item. Blink Dagger or Shadow Blade, that'll be the question. They already got the Moonlight Shadow. And we have the one hero, the PL. That is your dream.
Yeah, he's the only one that hasn't died yet. 2-0 and 0. He's got, well, most of the kills on the side of VGJ Storm.
I feel like you might have to go the Shadow Blade, even though it feels a little awkward. But in terms of like getting the PL, I don't think Blink feels as good. Oh, he might end up just buying it so he doesn't lose all his gold though, because MSS, he's looking for that hook shot. That's a juicy looking Doom right next to a tower though. Tims is there backing him up.
Now Moonlight Shadow. TNC ready to react to this.
This is the Shadow Blade demo run here. Oh, it does look good. Yeah, working out quite well.
Sam H playing mobile ward, but Tims misses the stun on SVG. A little bit of a heartbreaker there, but they've got a finger. And that's enough burst damage to bring him down.
They'll find the PL though. Doppelganger, hook shot on the Bane.
MSS now taking a lot of damage. It's a double damage, in fact, on Armel. Nightmare buys Cuckoo some time, but not enough to stay alive. They do live, but just look at the map right now. This is the entire squad of VGJ Storm all in one area, while the rest of TNC are pretty spread out, pressuring that tier 1 mid. Raven having a dance party by himself in the jungle over here. He's got a Radiance. TNC still feeling pretty good. 16-4 at the 18-minute mark. It's a 6K net worth advantage.
And they could consider heading in towards the Roche Pit at some time. It feels kind of good. There's not really the best way to fight it right now. Obviously, the Clockwork, if that's available, that could be one option for them. But no need to rush anything. I think last game it was a bit dicey to go for that Roche. It kind of gave VJ the one chance they had to get back into it. So maybe just reflecting on that, TNC might be a little more cautious. But there he is, Sam H with the Shadow Blade. So Sentry's stock has risen quite high now for VGJ Storm. Having to watch for the initiations there, so you see SVG running around, plopping those things down, creating some Observer Sentry Ward combos. He wants to scout out these heroes when they just want to rotate in and look for an easy pick on the Resolution, the one person who can salvage this match.
Another big item pickup for TNC. That's the Blink Dagger on Tims. So more initiation on the Lion. He's also level 11, so soon that Finger of Death is going to pack even more of a punch.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see a team. Everyone can just go for an item before Force Staff against Clockwork because they are so far ahead.
That's a
typically, you know,
that's a great way to summarize the state of this game.
Yeah, usually like this Lion would have to like buy a Force Staff and be like, oh, but I really want Blink, guys. Someone has to do it. Well, no, everything's going so well. Get your Blink Dagger, man. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell how little VGJ Storm want to fight as they sack this tier 2 up top. Not even really able to counter pressure down bottom all that well. Snake King does have a Wild Wing Ripper, so he's chipping away at it. But now the retreat from TNC seems they will mount a defense, and the Glyph is even enough to push back VGJ.
I cannot handle another game where a team's just going to walk high ground and have no spells cast at them. Please.
That's true.
VGJ Storm, I hope you can find a time to fight.
Shadow Blade is up on the Doom, though, my friend.
Yeah, it's looking good with the Infest.
Surprise inside, ready to rock and roll. TP back mid. VGJ still lingering in enemy territory. Looks like we could see a smoke now from TNC in the mid lane. They're just going to leave the Lion up top to push that creep wave in. Try to make this look a little bit less obvious. VGJ in such a risky position right now. Snake King's the one that's going to get jumped on. It's a pretty okay jump. They get the Doom off on him, but MSS taking so much damage. SVG gets soloed by Tims. 3 down just like that, and the Leshrac falls shortly after. That wasn't even a team fight. That was a massacre.
Yeah, it felt like they were prepping for that exact situation, though. Like, they were pressuring the tier 2. They were hoping someone was going to TP in, that they could pick off one of these heroes, but instead they group up way back at the tier 2 in the mid lane, smoke as a group inside, and so when suddenly someone pops up on that sentry, it's not just the Doom alone. It's obviously the Doom, the Lifestealer, as well as even just the Mirana there. So 12-0-5 now for Armel. He has the BKB, used easily in that fight, and he's going in towards the Mjolnir.
Yep, and a double damage room also spawns up top, something he's going to pick up in his bottle right now. Oh, even more aggression likely to come from TNC. PL, what's he got here? It's a Yasha, just going for the Manta style. Very standard build from Resolution. Not much to criticize, but still not really feeling the power of this PL right now. Cuckoo just walked right into the lane. That was not the play. Thinking that perhaps Rezo was by himself. Gets a little bit baited there as Vici J had a lot of reinforcement.
Okay.
A little weird.
I think he maybe just, I'm dead, I'm gonna die faster, so I respawned and joined my team. I'm not sure. Get away from the ward you planted. It was already gone, though. Yep, that point. So his team presses forward. Their opponents are down a hero. They'll find them shrining up here, and MSS, considering it, he goes in.
Yeah, one shot does connect. The Doom locked in cogs, but the Doom is very tanky. Arrow turns onto the clock. They're forced to use the Chaotic Offering. Armel with a BKB has to go back defensively. It's all of Vici J Storm and just a couple of TNC. The rest of the team is split pushing Raven, trying to grab that tier 1 down bottom. But good rotations from Vici J Storm seems like a worthy use of that Chaotic Offering.
Yeah, they're biting into it here. You know, this was almost a 10k lead. We're dropping down a little bit. They got the tier 1. Now they're looking towards that tier 2 as well. Just saying, hey, without the Doom, we don't think you want to fight us. See if they're correct. And okay, well, if you show fighting us, then we'll just leave. How about that?
Tim's maybe looking to grab one. It's a mini Ravage as they Dark Rift back to safety.
But as expected, they'll lose the bomb tower, help of the catapult there. Resolution will just go push out. Now he has his Diffusal, his Manta, and he's going in towards that Lincoln Spear to counter numerous heroes on the Radiant. Absolutely fantastic Lincolns here. I mean, the Bane, the Lion, and the Doom.
Yep.
You need it.
Oh, it's a Lincoln's game if there were ever one. But this still is the Resolution show from my perspective here. All of the eggs of Vici J Storm in the PL basket. So far, so good. They found these little pickoffs. 4-0-1 is the KDA on Resolution. But now we've got TNC in the pit. A little bit risky against the Clockwork. The Rocket Flare's already come, and you'll see TNC a bit nervous. They get cold feet and walk out.
Oh, they want to do it so bad while the Chaotic Offering is down, though. It feels very good for them. But Raven will just pop his Infest to regen up, and that means he's not hopping inside Sam H. So Lonely Boy will just have to wander off by himself.
Clockwork, pretty incredible force for Roche situations like that.
But very irritating to try and secure that. Constantly like living inside the Radiant jungle. They can throw some flares out to scout it. Another one.
Vici J Storm still not getting the better economy on the map. Very afraid to continue handing pickoffs the way of TNC, so they've been moving they're very globby, to borrow a word that you like to use, Trent. Moving around just as a pack while TNC are able to spread out a bit more, capitalize on that Radiance, and all things equal, we're not seeing kills. TNC is getting a bit more.
Tim's just pushed that entire top lane from the tier 2, and now he's a 4-step. So there you go. Solo push from the Lion with zero concerns about the enemy team.
It's a super farmed Lion. Look at that support. He's up there with the Leshrac.
I mean, this is TNC. This is, yes, they were struggling in some of the games so far today, but one thing they're very good at is the way they distribute their net worth. They just kind of, they say, all right, which hero with what item across our whole team right now will have the best impact in this game, and they just get it. That's just what they do. And, you know, if it's position 5 needing a Blink Dagger, okay, give him the full wave. You see a lot of teams, they would still be giving all those waves over to the Lifestealer or something, but finding that efficiency, obviously very important, and so it means that the Blink and the Force Staff will be there for Tims in the next fight.
Absolutely. Looking at the Lesh, by the way, what's Yawar working on? Brown boots into Bloodstone. So he's going for this sort of poverty build we saw from the support Lesh in the last game. And that's sort of what helped TNC win that big fight. The Lesh was the first one to die in that fight. He respawned instantly thanks to the Bloodstone charges.
Yeah.
So curious to see if Yawar will have the same success with the item, but
on the core Leshrac, on the less farm than the position 5. It was quite the game.
I'm really trying.
Oh, nice player. We'll scout over the area they're coming from.
That's a pesky-looking Ancient Golem. And here we go. Hex to get things started. Tims with a very aggressive blink forward. Ends up paying with his life. Now the Chaotic Offering is used, but Armel doing so much with the Starstorm. They've lost 2 on the Dire. Cuckoo goes down, but the Lesh falls. It's a crazy fight that goes 3 for 3. Raven versus Rezo, and it looks like Raven's going to be on the back side of it. Nothing he can do as he gets chased into the trees. He's dusted up. The Moonlight Shadow's even expired, and this PL...
Rezo takes on the world. It's a PL game, baby.
Yeah,
you get Defusal, you get mana, you can kill everybody. Like,
this is just a PL game. This is the PL show. He has become the star of this game, and he's picking up a team and putting them on his back.
Damage. 4,000.
Jeez.
From the Phantom. Very.
What a hero. And now they move right into Roach. So just like that, BGJ Storm clawing their way back into this game. They remove the big objective from the map, and they will get a second life on their core.
But there's no Chaotic Offering.
Can they actually contest this? Doom down for another second. Roche falling fast enough. The arrow does connect on MSS. They might go for this. Roche is not falling fast enough. Now the finger. Down goes the Clockwork, but it does secure the space they need to finish off Roche and get that second life on their PL.
Oh, Armel, you could see at the BKB,
he was
kind of thinking about it.
He had the calculator out. He was doing the math, but he made the right call. Yeah. Not going to throw this away. They've still got an okay lead right now. TNC just need to take a deep breath. I think the last couple of times we did see some of that. We're so far ahead, I'm playing a little bit too aggressive. Well, Cuckoo running into the enemies. Tims with that blink in the last fight. It was an okay initiation, but he died immediately.
And keep in mind, he's sitting on a 15 kill streak right now on this Mirana.
That's...
Whoever gets this is just... If the PL gets this, I mean, it's like an item.
That's actually
going to be completed for him.
A really good point. It's pretty rare you see a bounty this big at 27 minutes. There are just dollar signs on top of his head. Lincoln's up on the PL. That's nice.
Well, good news for you are, though. But that old Bloodstone is going to be farming very fast. You can nuke waves instantly.
It is a good recovery item in that regard, absolutely. All that mana regen, as soon as you pick it up, if you can just avoid team fights and use it as a farming item, incredible on the Keeper of the Grove there.
And yes, you have the Radiance Lifestealer versus the Fan Lancer, or the Radiance Ancient Granite Golem, however you want to look at it here. But he still needs help, you know, it's not just this like crazy, it's not the Bloodseeker Slayer counter.
Right.
It's the, yeah, I help a little bit during the team fights, but I really need my Mjolnir Mirana to go off as well, so.
Yeah, Solar Crest and now Manta Style next on the docket for the Lifestealer.
That should work when you're inside. Should make 2 more Ancient Granite Golems. Val, please.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Let's just duplicate the Ancient.
Yeah, they're just illusions.
Yeah, just illusions.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's what PL says. Oh, they're just illusions. Come on. What are you running away for? What, are you scared? They're just illusions.
They're only tickling a tier 2 with backdoor.
Only 2 outer towers remain for both sides. Both standing in the mid. Top here for the Radiant. Soon to be turned to rubble as Resolution just chops it down. Only a 5K net worth lead. BGJ Storm very much back in this game. And they're looking like they want to go high ground here. A little bit surprising, but TNC not quite ready for it. The Lifestealer will have to TP back. There is a glyph used right now. Hit a Malice. Arrow flies through. That'll be off the mark.
There's no sentry right in front here at the moment. So some slight concerns just about the Doom and everything.
It's a pretty bold play from BGJ Storm, but with the Aegis, they say, you know, let's just put the PL on the high ground. He's got the Lincolns. Yep. Maybe they'll waste the Doom or one of those other big spells, then we can take a fight. If not, let's just back up.
I like the wards they've left behind too. Covering their tracks there from the Doom, maybe initiating behind with a Shadow Blade or something, just Observer, Sentry combos. Very key against Mirana ulti and against these Shadow Blade Doom initiations, because they cannot allow them to get on top of Rezo. He has the Hurl Boulder as well, so he is able to pop the Lincolns and then go in for the Doom if he finds Rezo alone.
Initiation onto Tims. He's already force stabbed back, but that Spirit Lance initiates, and he actually survives just barely. Oh, no, as the sleep comes, that final Lance will bring him down. Tims does buy back straight away. Doom on the Underlord. Now the chaotic offering. BGJ Storm with
Splitters
a
on
running
two.
low on resources. They kill Tim's. It's a dieback there, but Snake King has also gone down. Hook shot onto Lifestealer. This looks like TNC's fight, but Resolution still very healthy. Jumps into the base, goes in onto Cuckoo, and this Bane is now out of options as he runs into the tier 4s. He's actually going to live. Without mana, it's actually saving him because PL can't do enough damage.
Horseback doesn't want to commit too hard there, though,
Okay.
but...
So just a dieback on Tim. It's actually not that bad.
No, they're having a hard time keeping Snake King alive. Like, that focus is really working. He's not being able to get off the Crimson Guard, get off the Pipe of Insight, and that's hurting them a lot through this engagement. But the hero's just kind of dead.
Yeah, it feels like, oh, he's so tanky, he's really a great Doom target, but if you catch him before those aura items are used, oh yeah, you're preventing a huge amount of damage from Cage. Now, still a 5K net worth lead for TNC. A fairly even fight, and both sides will spread out and go back to farming. Still the PL show, and Armel still hanging on to that bounty, 16-0-7 on the Marana.
What's really important, though, is that Yuara did not go down. In terms of like heroes that you're losing to the side of VGJ Storm, you look at Yuara, he still has the 15 Bloodstone charges, so he can keep moving around this map. Now they've bought all this space with the threat they've now put into the hearts of TNC. You know, they're a little bit more worried now. Even though they're up 5K, I doubt they feel that way.
No,
pretty sure they're kind of just like, oh shit, you know, this PL's out of control. Everyone's running to the trees and just TPing out. We're spread, we're split. And it says, no, the block for the PL, but it should be okay.
They're still probably going to find the kill. Cuckoo's not able to do much. Defensive Nightmare not quite there. Arrow does connect onto Warlock. They lose SVG. Buyback from Cuckoo. TNC want to take this fight. The Doom getting low, but he'll pop his BKB. Splitter connects on Tim. He'll be stuck in the grave for 50. Sam H able to walk out for now, and Snake King says, guys, this is awkward. Let's get out of here. Dark Rift, we're going to make it.
Yeah, they're running low on detection there, so just bail out. You lost your Warlock with the 2 sentries, so everybody get the hell out during Moonlight Shadow.
Yeah, it was just a stray arrow that popped him there at the beginning of the fight. So a little bit unlucky perhaps for BGJ Storm. Like you said, that was the one hero that got picked, but they make the retreat.
Yeah, and they're also going into a fight TNC without the Doom too, so just kind of a very important component of these engagements.
Yep. Another buyback used, but not a big deal, as we mentioned a few times. Relatively cheap, especially on those supports. Starting to feel a lot better for VGJ Storm, though. More of these fights we watch, Trent, I just don't know what the answer is for this PL. He's even got a Monkey King bar now, and Heart of Taras queued up. Like,
yeah,
he's tanky,
the heart especially,
and he's doing damage.
I don't know, it feels kind of good at the start of some of these fights, right? You know, it doesn't seem like they're able to get on top of Armel. Obviously, he's not dying. 17-0-7, but...
I mean, he's had very good positioning in these fights, that's for sure. Down bottom, Tim's caught by the Dark Troll Summoner. Hook shot from MSS, this time's on the money, and locked in the cogs.
MSS still only has the urn completed here, too. Thought he might try and opt for the Blade Mail, but I guess with the BKB on the Marana, not quite as valuable.
We have this kind of interesting thing brewing here, Trent. If we look at KDA, the 2 big cores on both teams have not died yet. Rezo is 9-0-5. Not the same bounty that Marana's racked up, but he's starting to have a pretty big dollar sign on top of his head as well.
Question is, how are they ever going to bring him down, though? Feels like they just can't identify the correct one during the team fights. It seems they're just casting spells and stuns and everything onto the opposite one. So
risky to go for the Doom on the PL, especially now that he has the Lincolns. You have to break the Lincolns before the Doppelganger. Very tall order.
Yeah, and he's ditched out on the Hurl Boulder, too, so he doesn't have his own way to proc him right now.
Yeah.
Gonna have to go in towards the War Stomp.
No Halberd or anything like that to use as a Lincoln's breaker. And Lifestealer, he went for the S&Y, and now Shiva's Guard, going to be queued up for Raven.
It looks like maybe a group up of smoke here or something after this wave. Remaining team possibly considering, but Flare comes through, shows them all grouped up, and then...
Honestly, I think we'll see this game stay a little quiet until Roche respawns.
Oh, that's soon.
A couple of seconds till we see what the RNG timer looks like, but...
Smoke time is now. So they know that there's a possibility that Roche could be up in 1 second. So excellent clock management here.
It's a short respawn.
TNC, and yeah, there you go.
20 seconds.
This is why you got to go. Second, it's feasible in case you get one of these early rolls here, and they're going to get their smoke pop.
Oh, this is so tough, though. Dyer holding the high ground. Beautifully done by Snake King, though on top. Sets it up for SVG as the rock flies. MSS with a hook shot down. Tries to force staff away. Armel will blink defensively. There's the Moonlight Shadow. Nice stun from Tims, does slow things down a little bit, keeps his Mirana alive. Neither side dies, but it does hurt a little bit for BGJ Storm using that ultimate on the Warlock.
Yeah, it felt like Rezo was chasing, hoping to pop the BKB, but he couldn't get that done. They're going to use the Underlord, though. Try and find a play there using the Helm of the Dominator from Snaking.
A cheeky little maneuver, but in the end, Cuckoo in the danger zone might not get scouted.
He is just on the run right now.
It's a Radiant Observer up there.
Oh no,
so.
he's being pincered in here. Cuckoo's still going.
Well, he's got some vision, so at least he knows they're on the way.
They see him now.
Wiggling his way through the mid, trying to TP out. Rune does not interrupt TP, but Splitter sure does. Cuckoo fall. No buyback on the Bane, so 60 seconds of 4v5. Is that enough to commit in the pit without the Warlock ult?
That's a tough question. Still no Moonlight Shadow from 35 as well, rather irritating. And now that PL is such a good Roach hero, they can kind of chip away at this.
They're going to go in on the Snake King again. He gets doomed. Whoops. Fingered as well. Buyback from Snake King, but Arrow connects onto Yawar. BKB from Sam H, and the Lesh will get put down. Respawn in only 10 seconds thanks to that Bloodstone.
I mean, SVG's in trouble here too. They haven't spawned him.
They jump in onto Armel. He has to BKB, maybe in trouble himself. Another nice stun from Tims, but it'll cost him. Snake King with a Pit of Malice on 2. Sam H and a Shadow Blade. He's able to run away. The rest of his team maybe not so lucky. This Ancient Golem, it's falling quick. There's a Life Stealer inside. There's Raven, pops the Rage, trying to make his way back as he engages the dance, and he'll be fine.
Rezo is so good at amassing these illusion armies, sending them in, and just not putting in his hero. So they're casting all these spells to, like, wipe all these illusion masses, and then Rezo's just not even there. You know, you're expecting to find that one surviving hero and then cast all your stuns on him, and Rezo's just, like, at the other side of the fight.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of, like, how FY plays Naga, being very cheeky with the illusions.
Exactly.
Very smart.
They still hold their lead, though, of course, with the buyback from Snake King.
Yep.
It's, very far up in that moment.
But Warlock ult up in 25 seconds. SVG in some trouble. He's going to get clipped down by Raven.
There's no Force Staff there.
Now buyback from the Warlock, but in the way, Sam H leading the charge. Cuckoo with a pretty decent Fiend Script. King with a stun.
Real one.
Where's the damage? The PL in the front lines. He's doing a lot, but also taking a lot. Raven running low on resources. They killed Yawar again, but there is no stopping this PL. Doom gets invisible, tries to run away, and he will. Defensive Infest Bomb will keep them both alive. Tims will go down. A lot of buybacks used to make this kind of play happen. Though it's really not a net worth gain for TNC, but BGJ Storm, I think, have finally whittled their way into an advantage for the Roche Pit. They've got the Warlock Golem, and those two supports are down without buyback.
Yeah, they were very low on resources to start that fight. MSS had virtually 0 mana. Of course, the nerfs to Force Staff there really hurting. He couldn't actually just save SVG because it was just a little bit too costly there at the 100. And they'll now use a flare to cover their flank there. And SVG will just camp out here with Golem in case. But they can kill Rezo once. 11-0 and 7. They had him stunned. They had him hexed during that fight. Did not matter.
Nope. Me too. Aegis and a cheese. So this Leshrac, who's fallen so many times, down to 8 Bloodstone charges. Next to Storm Spirit, Lesh might be one of the best cheese carriers you could possibly have. Refill that HP and mana pool and just keep that Pulse Nova going for more and more damage. I think that one's a game changer.
Yep, definitely. Again, though, this is kind of the idea of why Doom is good against BGJ Storm. Rezo games. It feels like that's kind of what we come down to so many times. And at the same time, it's one thing for them to be down. Maybe this is better for BGJ Storm because they kept throwing all these huge leads they have. They still haven't climbed their way back up into the net worth lead, despite a lot of map control over the past while, despite the domination in a lot of these team fights. So one Doom, one situation where they can actually catch Rezo out and figure out who the correct guy is, and we all know there's not a whole lot left in the tank of BGJ Storm once he goes down.
It's very true. And we also can't sleep on Armel. He had a really aggressive early game. His mid game has been a little bit more defensive, not trying to feed away that streak. He's 20-0 and 8 at the moment. He's got a Daedalus queued up. He's already picked up the Eye of Scotty after that Mjolnir was completed, but this Mirana is a legitimate right-clicking carry, especially once that crit stick is secured.
Oh, they're going to have to try and find themselves a decent engagement for her to actually make use of it here, because
certainly true.
It's like Rezo's just always on the run.
also has a BKB queued up for himself now. So it's like that Diffusal Blade gonna take a back seat.
Yeah, that's really the hook, line, and sinker to this one. Blair almost canceling the blink there, actually, on Tim's. Very dangerous.
Cuckoo also able to TP home up top as some bounty runes get picked up. SVG with some extra money for the team.
Calling 4 bounty runes like that. And hey, guys, we're back at net worth.
It's true.
We're starting to get the lead.
Once you get past that 40-minute mark, those bounty runes really do stack up. So what are we waiting for here for VGJ
He's
Storm?
alone. He's got the tier 3 to have health by himself.
They break the Lincolns. There's the doppelganger. But you're
Armel is
absolutely
showing
right.
top right now, too. So they have no fear. They just want to dive in. Now's a very good moment. Like the Fiend's gripping and Armel's not here.
There it is. Down goes the Bane, I think. He gets off a Nightmare, but Dust is used as that Moonlight Shadow gets deployed. Cuckoo hanging on a bit longer than planned. They need to kill this tier 3 tower. The rock flies out of the base as Armel commits pretty far. BKB jumps to the high ground. They will once again kill Snake King with the Doom. They're trying to regen through it, but it looks like it won't be enough. Sam H on his way out. That's a Radiant Sentry down.
Reza lost his Aegis. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Needs some help.
On the way back. And it looks like VGJ Storm will probably have to retreat. Somehow that tower didn't go down in the fight.
8 HP.
Yep. And they're not going to be able to kill shrines. Dooming Snake King has proved to be a fairly effective strategy.
Yeah, they're just going to deny it. The golem's coming.
Has been denied.
Can't
8
really blame them.
HP is pretty hard to keep alive, no doubt. Right, so not so easy for VGJ Storm. Even with Aegis, Cheese, still some options.
Yeah, that fight was very interesting, right? Because they start with this Fiend's Grip from inside the base, and then Armel, he's late into the fight, but instead of focusing on to where the PL was, he went to the back line. He started focusing in, with the help of the Doom, they started targeting Snake King, who we of course doomed, and then the Warlock, and Leshrac was back there too. So we just kind of clock, and Rezo inside the base, they focused on the clock first.
Moonlight Shadow used again by TNC. Don't know if they'll be able to find too much though. It's a warding expedition from the Bane to get a little bit of vision around the river.
I'm not even sure MSS made it out of that one. It looked like they were going to be able to get him, and then suddenly him and Rezo are just on the way out post Aegis. So
yeah,
impressive stuff in that regard. MSS finally like getting a couple items, of course, going for the Lotus Orb next, trying to help protect Rezo during these high ground fights.
Maybe protect Snake King from the Doom.
That's true.
Double damage rune. Hook shot will stop Cuckoo from picking it up. Instead, it's grabbed by Rezo. It's a dead Bane. And now maybe they'll look for more. Armel able to blink back defensively, but Rezo calls an audible. He says, you know what, BKB, that's a little too safe. I'm going Bloodthorn, baby. Lock him down and him down.
Okay. The BKB has been wearing down for Armel, so maybe this is his solution, just getting that kill.
Very scary item in the hands of a hero like this. Second shrine goes down, so a little more gold for VGJ Storm. Of course, less access points for TNC.
Mr. Sports way out up there.
This game very tight, 23-21 at 43 minutes. Remember, this is tournament life. Elimination here in game number 3. Loser goes home relatively early in this event. Not surprising to see both teams playing very cautiously, and we might even be on this next Roche timer before we see a real high ground assault from VGJ Storm, and that's going to be at least another 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, just keep controlling the map, keep getting bounty runes, up your lead, try and get some gold and some items on some of these heroes, right? Like at the very bottom here, the Warlock, obviously way down there, he still has no defensive items, so if he's gone on whatsoever, he just dies. Would not hurt to have a Glimmer Cape or a Force Staff, it's up to 1,500 gold, so I'm sure he would love to just get that done. And Clockwork as well would obviously like to finish up that Lotus Orb.
I mean, they've got a lot of really good defensive items coming. Double Lotus Orb, one on the clock, one queued up for the Underlord, and also Lesh now looking for a Lincoln Sphere. So realizing how much pressure that Doom has put on, going to make his life a lot more difficult in these next few team fights.
It looks like they know the smoke was coming. Rezo was trying to pop it there with his Invis rune.
Moonlight Shadow still available. Now even a smoke from VGJ Storm as they move up the mid lane.
They have a gem here on Snake King too. They're going to use that to get rid of that ward that was just placed down by Cuckoo.
Pretty good vision still from VGJ Storm.
Radiant will scan underneath their own wards and just check. Now, they didn't check the high grounds there, which is a little benefit there for TNC, so those will at least remain, but they are heading down to the bot. You can try and force the fight in this area. Go right for that early melee Rex.
Yeah, remember there's no tier 3. There is a cliff for TNC. Being annoying with these PL illusions.
Not even going to commit to anything. They had the wave mid, but no wave bottom, so back they go. And bounty runes. Tim's actually ends up getting the top 2, so a little bit of a costly error there. Maybe a bit slow in that rotation. But not mind giving those for your own team. 130 gold each at this point.
Yep, but they grab the others in that bottom part of the map.
And that's Daedalus.
There it is. Finally completed, and also pooling for buyback before making that pickup. Looks like Lincoln's will be the final choice for the Mirana. Also, the Warlock finally hit level 20, so now the Death Golem, something else that can be a game changer in these team fights. If that Warlock gets picked off early, still get at least one big AoE stun.
He's got his Glimmer Cape now, though. Snake King, they have the gem there on him, and Tim's blinking, force staffing.
He'll make it.
Yeah. MSS not going to attempt any sort of a hookshot play here.
Got that Centaur hanging out in the Roche pit. It'll be a couple of seconds before we see what the RNG timer looks like, but based on the placement with that Helm of the Dominator, I think we know what the intentions of VGJ Storm are. Get that Aegis, get that cheese, and the Refresher Shard, and then perhaps go for the death push. But in the meantime, they will smoke up, knowing that Roche timer could be up any moment.
Oh, they're going to show mid, though, with the Underlord spell. Moonlight Shadow used. They're going to run into the Doom.
Oh, there's the detection. Point blank hook shot right onto Sam H. He does have the BKB. Doom still available. Arrow will not connect. And now the follow-up from TNC. They go on hard to the left. The Doom was used. Now Fiend Scrape onto the Clockwork. MSS in big trouble. Leshrat did buy back straight away, as will the Clock.
That Bloodthorn, it's on. Can't get him, though. No
Great
bounty
fight for TNC.
still.
So this is scary. Roshan, it was an immediate respawn, Trent. Nothing after the RNG timer.
Wow. That hurts. VGJ Storm, that's for sure. That means no Golem. Mind you, they do it extremely quickly.
They are going to run right in here.
Someone pop that thing. Bloodthorn time. Easy. Look at that. Damn. Underrated aspect of the old Bloodthorn.
Absolutely. You don't need that old Firestorm if you've got a Bloodthorn, because Roche just evaporates. Pretty low risk for VGJ Storm, and they grab it. So Aegis onto Yawar. No big surprise there. And Refresher Shard, I have to imagine, will go to that Warlock. Absolutely. Well, things just got a little bit more interesting. A good team fight for TNC, but that hands Roche over to VGJ Storm. And Aegis Cheese Refresher always gives you that window of opportunity where it feels like you're just one team fight away from crippling that Hydra.
Yeah, it feels like they just don't have enough wave player at all to try and keep up with what VGJ Storm are doing, right? It's so simple for these illusions just to show up like the one Manta style and just walk down a lane in the PL, whereas you have a Life Zero that's pretty slow, you have a Doom who doesn't want to show on the waves. I mean, Tim's has been the biggest wave push this game, honestly. And he's finally going to be able to get the Aghanim Scepter, which is massive for them. I feel like they actually need it this game. Pretty much the only item that's going to be able to help break through this big wall of Phantom Lancer illusions and maybe help them identify the correct one, at least give them a good shot at it.
I like it. It's a creative solution. We'll see how well it works.
It's very pricey, though. 625 mana. Yeah, not the easiest to make use of in the engagements, of course. And yeah, you still really only get one. The fight is the last 21 seconds to get your second one off. And that's been easier said than done.
Yeah.
TNC. Yeah.
TNC,
okay, he'll get the Octarine Core.
Constantly using this Moonlight Shadow. And I know surprised he did go for the Moonlight Shadow talent, but they've just got this constant AoE invisibility.
This is such an irritating spell to play against.
It really is.
It's unbelievable.
It just gives you so many opportunities to go for pickoffs like this.
Yeah, and this isn't the buff that I think that really brought it back. Of course, it was more so like the leap was a little bit better, and she was already pretty decent. But this one is just level 25. Doesn't hurt to have a nice 25 on the heroes that you're picking in competitive. So sometimes the games drag out like this, and this just means there's a 2-second downtime of not being invisible.
Yeah. Now smoke from the other side. VGJ Storm. It gets broken pretty quickly by Cuckoo. They do have detection. Snake King is the gem carrier, also has the cheese.
He's really wishing he was level 20 with that 6-5 speed.
Hook shot, though. It connects from MSS onto Cuckoo. There's the Marauder with the BKB, but the first golem comes down. Snake King dies immediately. He buys back to get into this fight. There's another golem from the Warlock. Bane goes down
Are they going to get Armel?
Armel in a lot of trouble. He's locked down, and he finally falls. It's a huge bounty that goes the way of Yawar. Buyback from Bane. It's a 2-for-1. Both teams buying back on one. Mirana hanging on to hers. Honestly, the refresher shard used, though.
Yeah, at this point, it definitely feels like buyback and TPing in is the counter to Doom. You know, just let it happen. Don't bother popping your pipe, your Crimson Guard. Snake King's able to get back in that fight, and Hedda kept continuing. Would have went just fine for him, but that was still the right move from TNC. They kind of understood that, okay, that's a full other hero just coming right back into this one. So it starts out with a hook shot onto the Bane. Arrow does not hit, and from there, just kind of run after Armel, you know? But what more do you ask for? And as you said, SVG, though, hitting the big goal, and that was kind of the one that sealed up, just like, oh god, the Fatal Bonds. Everyone get out.
But even on top of all that, BGJ Storm not able to close out this game, just furthering their economy. This PL is beyond critical mass. I think a Moon Shard probably on the docket for him before too long. Yeah. He's got an Abyssal Blade queued up next.
Yeah, he's starting to get to that point. Maybe swapping out the Scotty, taking it.
But here we go. The high ground siege now begins for BGJ. Mirana hanging onto that buyback. Glyph used pretty early on. Got a couple of siege creeps here to assist with the push. Teamster now onto Ledge. There's the buyback from Armel. Remember, Yawar has Aegis and Cheese, so maybe not the ideal target. He'll pop the Cheese first. A lot of damage coming into him, but BGJ Storm are starting to lay it in themselves. Sam H with the BKB, soon to expire as Raven is getting low, but Yawar finally goes down. There's your Aegis, but Snake King dies, and now MSS, he's low as well. Warlock falls. There's the Death Golem, but immediate Hex. Where is this PL? His teammates get cleaned up. MSS survives with 50 HP. We'll see if they can catch him. Into the tree line, Timms misses the stun. MSS with a nice spot there in the fog does TP out.
Maybe they just weren't expecting them to run a buyback, but finally we've got a lot of damage out of her in that engagement. 7,547, and Lifestealer finally kind of feels like he's able to get involved as well.
Oh yeah.
And once more though, getting Snake King, of course. This time, although it may be a good counter, it was not available. You get doomed, you die on that Underlord, you're not coming back in.
I was
buyback still on CD.
So nervous watching TNC put all that damage into the Leshrac, knowing he basically had 3 lives there. First the Cheese goes back to full, they continue laying in the right clicks, then they kill him. The Aegis took a little bit too long to respawn, and a bunch of his teammates died while he was waiting for that second or third life to come back. So incredible hold from TNC. Of course, they do need to use a couple of buybacks there, and most notably on the Mirana, but they don't even lose a Barracks.
No. Very nicely done there, and I think a lot of that too just coming with, like, they were so clumped with the side of BGJ Storm that the Mjolnir was going like crazy from Mirana, and really helping to take out those illusions right as they were spamming.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and right back the other way we go. 2 heroes dead without buyback. Warlock does have his, also has a chaotic offering. Glyph still standing for BGJ Storm. They'll go ahead and use it to try to save this tier 3 tower. Buyback status, there are a couple, most namely the PL alongside the Warlock.
TNC just kind of patient here, just going to get their 1 melee racks and try and back away. Now there is some decent chase here from the Dire side, but they have to do it into this almost infinite Moonlight Shadow, so not going to be a very simple task, and it looks like they'll be able to just retreat here.
Easy push.
Doom.
TNC making this game look very even, as now Rezo, he gets a Doom himself. He's got the Nullifier to go with the Bloodthorn. Complete lockdown. He's
typing random letters and numbers into the shop search bar or something. I don't know, every time we click on him, he's got something different queued up. I like this more than the Abyssal Blade that he was considering.
Yes, I think so.
Be a little handier, maybe up against someone like the Lifestealer, even into the PL, or the Doom too.
Yeah, it seems like that BKB from Sam H has been so pesky, but again, Moonlight Shadow, the wraparound. Who are they going to grab? DD initiation onto the Leshrac. DD picked up by Armel. This could be so bad for BGJ Storm as MSS goes down first. No buyback there. In the pit, they'll find the second kill on the Phantom Lancer. He's going to buy back. Now Snake King getting low. He gets crit down before he can Dark Rift. Trent, this game might just be over for BGJ Storm. There's 3 down without buyback, and Rezo's already used his.
Oh, and the tip.
Is that it? just like that, this even game, it's been such a back and forth guerrilla warfare type match, and TNC just finally, it just takes one Moonlight Shadow to make it happen.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was like the 30th one, it kind of felt like.
Yeah, but I mean, it just takes one to work.
It is true. Eventually, they were going to come through. Excellent wraparound was not the angle one would expect. You can see Rezo was actually one at the forefront there. And then, of course, that DD rune spawning. They both kind of panicked for a second. The freeze frame, deer in headlights, and Armel leaps forward, grabs it first, and he was by far the highest damage leader in that engagement.
And now, the buyback. It's a 2v5, a 3v5 as Lesh finds his. TNC could be moments away from eliminating VGJ Storm as they go for the tier 4s. No glyph for the Dire. One's fallen already. The second going down soon. There's no Warlock ultimate unless SVG dies. Now the focus on the throne. VGJ Storm doing everything they can. Yawarj charging in. Focus me, not my base. But it's not enough. They make the PL look like he's made of paper as he gets ripped apart, and TNC make.
Wow, fellas, there was such a window there as they all start tipping resolution where it seemed like he was completely unstoppable, unkillable, and they just could not find themselves the answer. But they started kind of moving this gold around, you know, maybe getting the Aghanim Scepter there on the Lion. He started getting a lot of experience too. You see into the game level 24. Nice, solid guy.
So back and forth. If you look at the graphs at the end of the game,